Hello friends, I'm going to show you how to draw these really cute fish. I'm going to show you the basic shapes and then you can work on whatever patterns you'd like. Every fish that we do is going to be similar with the types of shapes we add. So the first thing I do on my fish is the body shape. So this fish is going to have a body shape like a lemon. So there we go. Add your lemon body shape. And then we decide on our tail and our fins. This fish is going to have a tail and fins that are straight along the bottom and curved along the back. And you can give your fish any number, size of fins that you want. But I am giving mine one on the top, two on the bottom, and then a tail. Let me make sure I've got my focus locked there. There we go. And then for my tail, I'm going to make this big moon shape, and then I'll come over and attach it to the fish. Now I have these drawn in pencil so you can kind of see what I'm doing. You can have an idea of where to put things on your page. So then I'm going to determine where the fish's face starts. Then I'm going to give it an eye. And on a lot of my fish, I'll do the outside of the eye, the inside of the eye, and then I'll give it another little circle for where the light is glinting off of my fish's eye. And that makes it look a little more friendly. You can always give your fish a mouth. You can give them a little smile if you want. That is up to you. So this fish is going to be smiley. If you want your fish to look a little more realistic and you're not here for the silly smiley fish, that's fine. So let's do all of our shapes of fish first, and then we can go back in and add detail. The next fish is going to be like a triangle. And I'm working from big fish to smaller fish because once I have those big fish drawn, then I can fit my smaller fish in the little nooks between them. So this is a triangle, but I'm going to come out kind of in a pokey way on the back so that it's a triangle on the front, but it's more pokey on the back. And then for its tail, I'm going to fan out and just add a curve there. So that's the shape of that fish and tail. And then I decided to make its face also sort of square. And then I'm going to do the same eye where I have a little white in the middle. And I like to start making that little white spot bigger than it needs to be because I can always get smaller. But it's complicated to take black permanent marker off of paper once we've put it down. And let's see what kind of, this fish can have an angled smile since it's very angular. All right, so next let's head up to this fish. And this fish is a very long fish. So it's kind of like that lemon shape, but it's very long. And I'm aiming to make the top and bottom symmetrical, but if they aren't, that's all right because these are imaginary fish that I'm making. And I want its fins to be a little crackly at the end. So I'm going to come straight across, but make a little V. A little V. There we go. So it's kind of a ruffly fin. And then I'll do the same when I go up and draw this fin on the top, and when I come back and do this fin on the bottom. And I could always add another one there, but for some reason I didn't, and that's fine. And then we'll do this fish's face. Perfect. And then give it a little eyeball with a circle in the middle. Oh, this one's a little tiny. I don't know if I can do it. I'll just make the outside of that circle bigger. There we go. So we've got 3 fish, and hopefully you're getting the hang of it. You can keep doing the shapes of fish that I'm doing, or you can go off on your own. This fish is not going to be symmetrical on top and bottom. It's going to have a fun little shape. I have this taped so that I don't move it out of your camera view, but you don't need to tape your paper down. And then the bottom of this fish is going to come upward and meet like that. And then its face is going to have sort of an S curve to it. I think that's a lot of fun. And then we'll give it that cute little eyeball. And make sure that I leave a little bit of white space in there. And then for its fins, I went with kind of a mermaidy feel. So they're curvy, maybe shaped like a leaf, you could say. And when I do these, I add my pencil, but sometimes I don't exactly go where I added my pencil lines. Those are just a rough draft. So there's that fish. And then I'm going to make a littler triangle fish. So this one, it's like the other one. So we start with that triangle. And then I'm going to come in and give it that point at the back. And then I will give it a square face. And then the tail can floof out to the sides. But this one's going to have a wavy little tail. So just think about the pieces that you're adding to the fish. You can make them very angular, very soft. And that's a good way to get a variety. I have got a piece sticking off of this pen and I need to get rid of it. Okay. Oh, what fishy should we do next? Let's do this one. This fish is just like the lemon shape of this one, but it's smaller. So let's come in, add that lemon-shaped body, and then its fins are going to be sort of big and curvy at the back. And once we have the basic shape of our fish in, then we can decide how we might want to decorate each of these little fish elements. So there's that one. And then I'm going to also give it that fun S-curve face shape and give it an eye, an eyeball, and that little glimmer. I haven't given everyone a mouth yet. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. You're welcome to go for that step if you're ready at this point, but I'm not sure I am. All right, so this fish is going to be shaped like a very fat carrot. So it's a little bit of a triangle, maybe like the shape of a spade. And then its fins are going to be wavy along the top, curvy along that connecting part. And then for the tail, I'll do a similar motion where I just add those little waves. Like I have said before, if you want your fish to look like maybe a fish that exists in real life, you can always look at a picture of that type of fish and try to make your shapes similar. So let's do another sort of a spade shaped little fishy, but I'm going to come up and round out for this little tail. And then I'll go over, and then we've got an interesting shape. I will add its face and its eye, and I'm going to leave that tiny bit of white there in the middle. And now if you're ready to start in on fish design, you can do that, but I'm going to add some fish that are coming from the side. We can't see the whole fish, but that's all right. It's still in our picture. All right, and then I'll do the wavy face and an eye and the little glimmer. So we don't see that whole fish, but it's still there. It's just passing through. And then I'm gonna do a tiny baby fish. So this one's also kind of like the lemon, but it's little bitty. And I'll give it some curly fancy fins and a curly fancy tail. Its eye, I don't know if I can do that with this marker, so that's what its eye is gonna look like. All right, I have room for 2 more fish over here. If you don't, that's all right. Some of us are working on different sizes of paper with different sizes of marker or pencil, so you might have more room or less room than me. But just go according to what you want in your little fish pond or ocean or whatever this is for you. So that fish has a big eye, kind of a big face. And then we can't see its fins very much, but I can put some pattern on them later. And I'm going to add 1 more fish, and then I'm going to start in with my pattern. So this is going to be also one of the big lemon-shaped fish, and its fin is going to go straight up. And we can't see its bottom fin because I don't have any room to put one there. So it's not getting one. Oh, look, I started the pattern. I wasn't even thinking. Okay. So outside of the eye, inside of the eye, and the little glimmer. Now we've got all of our fish shapes. And you don't have, this doesn't have to be your final. You can always go back and add some more. But I'm going to show you how to add some fun pattern. Let's start with our giant fish. So I'm going to give this fish a double line here. And then I'm going to come in and just make a scale pattern. So this is simple scallops. And each of the next scallops starts, oh no, so these are going to be double scallops, but I skipped a step. All right. So inside of each of these, we put a little echo of that shape, and that's going to make it that double scallop. So now I'm going to add this one, and this one, and then I can go to the next row. Ideally, you would add that outside scallop first, like so. And then you could come and do the next row of outside scallops. You don't have to make your scallops double, but I want my fish to be less realistic looking, more illustrative or decorative. So it's completely up to you how you want that to turn out. This is where your imagination really starts to take shape. So inside each of these, I'm going to add this second hump. So it's just an echo of the one that's already there. I love line and pattern drawing, so this is very fun for me. Now, inside each of these little interior sections, I'm going to make, it's like a sunburst. They all start at that bottom point and radiate outward. So I'll do that in each of these little scale sections. So let's see. That one didn't work exactly according to plan, but I'm not going to worry about it. Sometimes part of doing this is just developing the way you want to do it, and maybe you have one scale that is just not your favorite. That's all right. You learn and you move on and you do things differently for the rest of it. So this one's going to go up this way and radiate outward. Same here. And you can make any of these fish any pattern that you want. There are no rules. It's your art. They're your fish. So let your imagination go where it wants. If you like dots, if you like flowers, you can put all of those things on your fish. No rules. And if you don't want to do your pattern in pen, you can always come in with whatever you're going to color your fish with and add pattern that way. I really love drawing little lines and little pattern. So I'm going to enjoy this part of the practice. If you're not feeling it, you want to go ahead and start coloring, you can do that. This is a fun way to make your own coloring book page. Go through and draw stuff all in black. And then later, when you want to color it in with marker or paint or crayons, colored pencils, it's ready for you. Whoops, I missed one there. And you can tell that not all of my lines are perfectly straight. Some of them are a little shaky. Because I've taped my paper down, some of these lines are not the direction that my hand prefers to be when I'm drawing them. So I'm having a little bit of a struggle, but that's okay. I'm trying to work through it and learn how I can make my hand do what my brain wants it to do. I don't know about you, but sometimes I have days when my hands are shakier than other days. I'm really enjoying this pattern. I'll try not to get so involved in the rest of the fish patterns. But this one is really making my mind very happy. All right, so you can see how that's turning this into a really fantastic fish, right? And all it is a bunch of lines and arches. We can create such interesting pattern so simply. So there's the body of the fish. And for this fish, I think on its fins, I'm just going to do some little easy lines coming forward like this, and then maybe some dots. I like to call these lines like whiskery lines because they're very like a whisker, how I would draw a whisker. A long line that just comes toward the front. And I don't put a lot of pressure on the marker when I'm making these lines. And then I can put some little dots here and there. So you can spend a lot of time adding your pattern if you want to. I think I need a little more pattern here, don't I? All right, so you can spend a great deal of time adding pattern to these fish. You don't have to, but if it is making you happy, do it. You can always add little dots or dashes to different parts of the fish. Often it's fun for me to go fish to fish and think, okay, what have I not done? I haven't done any straight lines. So like on this fish, I'm gonna do some lines that echo the shape of the fish. So that's kind of fun. And then for its tail, I'm gonna stick with the straight lines and I'm gonna make some little arrows. And I think I'm gonna alternate the direction of the arrows. So maybe, let's see, should this one, no, I think everything needs to be pointing the same way. But you can see how that adds a lot more interest to this little fish. And you can even put pattern inside those areas. All right, this fish is gonna be spotted. Little dotty fish. Spotty, dotty, little fishy. And then its tail can just have some stripes. Who's next? Oh, this fish is fun. So I went from the point out to the front and I separated it into 3 sections. And then each of these sections, I'm gonna do lines that go a different way. So these are gonna go downward, and it's almost like they create the shape of an arrow or the veins in a leaf pattern. So when I go back this way, I know that my lines will go upward. So what should we do on the fins of this one? Let's do, I'm just gonna echo that fun little curve, I think. That looks great. And then I can do that here too. And here. So it's all curvy. This fish, I decided to do an interesting little, like it's gonna have a long stripe that goes toward the back. And then it's gonna have, I don't know that they're tiger stripes, but they're maybe a little bit tigery. Maybe like a shark fin. So I'm gonna add these shapes that follow the contour of the fish to the back. And they're looking a little bit symmetrical. I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. And then on these fins, I have the little separated areas. So I'm gonna start with those little separate areas and just go, excuse me, go to the front. And same here. And we can always come back and put little dots or whatever we want in there. Dots, stars. Let's see. Okay, this fish is gonna have a lot of line sections. And then we'll just have some of those little tiny whisker lines coming down from the top, and same with that tail. And that just makes it look like they're ripply, right? I'm enjoying it. All right, who do we have left? Oh, this friend up here. So let's make that same S curve, and we'll separate this fish into sections. And then I'm just gonna make these lines going back from the front of that fin. If you can think of other patterns that I haven't thought of, I want you to use them. This is where the line drawing and the pattern and using curves and circles and dots and dashes in all different configurations. Just work your imagination and really have a good time with it. You may be working more quickly than me. I know I am. When I get into this pattern stuff, I'm kind of slower than other people who are drawing. So if you're ready to move on and get started adding color or adding more fish, go at your own pace for sure. All right, who else needs some pattern? This fish here, let's see. This fish is also going to be smiling. Since this one's smiling, I'm just going to give this fish a lot of little tiny fish scales, because I don't have a lot of fish pattern, so maybe that one needs a little bitty pattern. All right, this fish does not have a lot of surface area for me to decorate, so I'm going to embellish these fins a little bit, and then maybe it'll be a stripy fish. Oh, we have this fish. I think this fish wants to be polka dotted also, like its friend, but maybe this fish can be polka dotted but with dots inside the dots. So it's maybe like a Fruit Loop fish. And then on its tail, I think it's gonna also have dots. And it will be smiling. Because if I was a donut fish, I would be smiling. Would you? All right, so get to work on your pattern. I'm gonna add some more things, but I'm going to time lapse it. I'll be back. All right, so I've added a lot of pattern to my fish. You don't have to go this far, but if you have some time on your hands and you're enjoying it, I say add all the pattern you want. I'm gonna wait for my ink to dry. Then I'm gonna erase all of my pencil lines and decide my next step. I hope that you're having fun drawing your fish, and I I can't wait to see what they look like. You can always add more in the little tiny sections. You can put some plants in there. You can add some little water bubbles and waves, or you could just put a pattern in the background. Or you could leave it and be finished. But it's your art, so it's your decision. I hope you have a good time finishing it out. Bye.